Welcome to the Disney Cruise Line Blog Podcast. This is episode number 49. On this episode, I'm going to talk about the recently announced early 2021 itineraries Disney Cruise Line announced on September 26, 2019. Early in terms of this announcement, January into May. Traditionally, there's usually 3 announcements per each year. The early ones, then there's a summer one, and then there's a fall release. Before we get into the early 2021 announcement, a number of people have already reached out and asked, what about the Disney Wish? Some people were expecting that. Well, the Disney Wish is not going to begin sailing until January 2022. So Disney Cruise Line will begin taking reservations for cruises aboard the Disney Wish in late 2020, so later next year. Now getting back to early 2021, Disney Cruise Line will have 3 of its ships sailing to the Bahamas and the Caribbean from Florida ports of call, with these cruises spending a day at Castaway Cay. The Magic will be out of Miami, and the Dream and Fantasy will be out of Port Canaveral. The Disney Dream will continue sailing the 3 and 4 night Bahamian cruises from Port Canaveral with Friday and Monday departures. Friday being the 3 night, Monday being the 4 night. All of the 3 nights are the standard itinerary: Port Canaveral, Nassau, and Castaway Cay. The 4 nights are all the same combination of Port Canaveral, Nassau, Castaway Cay, and a day at sea, but they're in various orders. The bulk of the sailings are the standard order: Port Canaveral, Nassau, Castaway Cay, and Sea, or Port Canaveral, Sea, Nassau, and Castaway Cay. For anyone looking for a unique sailing on the Dream, you're not going to find it in early 2021. There are no double dips, and there are no sailings that are not going to they're not going to Nassau. With this release, there are now departure dates for the Disney Dream through May 31st, 2021, with that sailing returning to Port Canaveral on June 4th. Staying at Port Canaveral, let's talk about the Disney Fantasy. The Disney Fantasy will sail 7-night Eastern and Western Caribbean itineraries from Port Canaveral. All of the 7-night Western Caribbean sailings are the standard traditional route: Port Canaveral, a day at sea; Cozumel, Grand Cayman, Falmouth, a day at sea, and ending with Castaway Cay. All but one of the 7-night Eastern Caribbean cruises are the standard route as well, that being Port Canaveral, 2 days at sea; Tortola, St. Thomas, a day at sea, and ending in Castaway Cay. The lone unique sailing here for the Fantasy in early 2021 is the February 6th sailing, and it's an Eastern Caribbean cruise, except instead of going to Tortola, it'll go to St. Martin. This release extends out the departure dates for the Disney Fantasy through May 22nd, 2021, with that sailing returning to Port Canaveral on May 29th. So when it comes to Port Canaveral options, your kind of the Walt Disney World land and sea options for early 2021, you have the Dream and Fantasy doing the 3 and 4 night Bahamian cruises, and the Fantasy doing the alternating 7-night Eastern and Western Caribbean cruises. As of today's announcement, the details for the Disney Fantasy's early 2021 sailings did not include details on Star Wars Day at Sea. This does not mean that Star Wars Day at Sea is not coming back in 2021. It's just we don't know right now. We could find out Monday when the sailings appear on Disney Cruise Line's website. It could be the sailings could be denoted then at that time, or they could be waiting for a later date as they used to kind of say, oh, these sailings, they're now this Star Wars Day at Sea cruise. Anyway, we will find out more about that and potentially Marvel Day at Sea for the Disney Magic, which we haven't talked about yet, but the same being said for that, because the Magic sailings that we'll get to next are not mentioned as being Marvel Day at Sea. So the theme cruises haven't been mentioned yet for early 2021. Doesn't mean they're not happening. It just means we don't know yet. Moving south from Port Canaveral down to Port Miami, we're going to get into the Disney Magic's early 2021 sailings. From Port Miami, the Magic will sail 3, 4, and 5-night Bahamian and Western Caribbean cruises. For the most part, the Disney Magic is sailing the same routes it has been offering out of Miami. The 5-night Westerns will either visit Cozumel or Grand Cayman, bookended by a day at sea, with the final day visiting Castaway Cay. There are 2 new itineraries during this time for the Disney Magic. One The January 14th cruise is simply, it's a change in port order. So it's not really new. It's just a change in port order for a Miami 4-night Bahamian. The other one is, quite appealing, at least for me. The May 6, 2019 is a 3-night Bahamian cruise that goes from Miami, Key West, and Castaway Cay. As has been the case with the previous itinerary releases for this time of year, the Disney Magic's eastbound transatlantic cruise was not included. This is normally, held back for the summer announcement to kind of say, the kickoff for the European season and where it's going to go first. Kind of gives you the tell of where the debarkation port is on the transatlantic, where they're going to begin, whether it's in the Med or Europe. The departure dates now for the Disney Magic extend through Monday, May 6, 2021, with that sailing returning to Miami on May 9th, which is about the right time one would expect the transatlantic to occur, if you wanted to pencil something in on a calendar. All right, now it's time to talk about the Disney Wonder. Whew. Just remember a few years ago, the Disney Magic was the ship shaking things up with new itineraries and home ports and new ports of call. Well, it's now the Disney Wonder's time to go out and chart new courses and explore the world. The Disney Wonder will begin the new year right where it left off, with continued departures from Galveston, Texas. The Wonder will offer a series of 4- and 6-night cruises to Grand Cayman and or Cozumel, depending on the sailing. There's going to be a 7-night Bahamian departure on January 15th that'll stop at Castaway Cay, Nassau, and Castaway Cay. Towards the end of January, the Disney Wonder will leave Galveston and reposition to New Orleans. And this is via a 1-night repositioning cruise on January 26th. There'll be no passengers on board. It's not something we can book. It's just a repositioning cruise. It's just a 1 night and, Jones Act and all that other stuff going from 2 U.S. ports. So that's just going to be deadhead cruise for the Wonder, repositioning to New Orleans. Beginning on January 27th, the Disney Wonder will begin sailing departures for New Orleans to the Western Caribbean, with one sailing featuring all-new port of call for Disney, Progreso, Mexico. Progreso, Mexico is located on the northwestern coast of the Yucatan Peninsula. According to Disney's, I've never been there, so I'm going off what Disney wrote for it. The town offers a place for families to explore together, from ancient Mayan ruins to hidden swimming holes filled with crystal clear water. Sounds cool. Always up for a new port of call. Seems exciting, especially cruise out of New Orleans. The other 3 other New Orleans departures will sail to the Bahamas, visiting Castaway Cay, Nassau, and Key West. Since we're talking about New Orleans, I just want to say we just had the opportunity to spend a few days in New Orleans. We actually stayed on Bourbon Street at the Royal Sonesta, and I'd easily stay there again if I was traveling there. It was a perfect location on Bourbon Street, and there was so much in the immediate area, that was walkable. We didn't need a car the entire time we were there. We took the lift from the airport right to the hotel, and then took a lift home and, walked our entire weekend there. Technically, you could walk to the port if you didn't mind rolling your luggage. I wouldn't really recommend it, but it is feasible to do. We walked from our hotel, the Royal Sonesta on Bourbon Street, to the port on a couple of occasions while we were there. There's a mall over there, restaurants and other things and other hotels. So it is feasible to walk. I wouldn't recommend it, but there are other hotels, like I said, right at the port. But if you want to spend time, living it up on Bourbon Street pre or post cruise, then I'd check out the Royal Sonesta. Or there's, other hotels in that area too. But I guess what I'm saying is it's pretty close to the port, so you can have some fun before or after. As for kids, that's a little more of a subjective, conversation than, reviewing food on a cruise. Also, Isabel was with us. We walked around Bourbon Street during the day and evenings without any problems. Kids aren't allowed into any of the bars, but there were a number of restaurants that were welcoming guests of all ages. If you have any concerns, drop me an email, and I'll do my best to kind of address any of your questions or concerns. In fact, it's probably worth doing a podcast on our time in New Orleans, because there was a lot that we got to see and do, and there's even more that we didn't get to do. So maybe once we can get the gang back together and get our trip report podcast from Alaska recorded, we can put that on our list of topics. On February 26th, the Disney Wonder will embark on a 14-night Panama Canal cruise to San Diego, ending its time in New Orleans. It's the same exact itinerary as the 2020 New Orleans to San Diego Panama Canal cruise. So if you're looking for variety, you're not getting it there. Once in San Diego, the Disney Wonder will sail a mix of familiar Baja and Mexican Riviera cruises. Some select Baja sailings will feature the second new port of call in this itinerary release, Catalina Island, California.
Catalina wine mixer.
Catalina wine mixer. Catalina wine mixer.
I'll stop you right there. I already looked it up. The original wine mixer was held in early September, according to visitCatalinaIsland.com. According to CruiseCritic.com's information on Catalina, Catalina is the largest of the Channel Islands. It's 22 miles west of the west end of the Pacific from Los Angeles. The island combines natural beauty with a wide range of amenities and activities. With over 50 miles of shoreline, secluded coves, and dramatic views, the destination has earned it the reputation as the island of romance. Most of the town's attractions are within comfortable walking distance from the pier. Snorkeling, kayaking, dining, and shopping are some of the highlights. Things to do there. Now, you don't actually dock at Catalina Island. It's another tender port. The Disney Wonder will anchor outside the harbor and tender passengers, presumably to the Green Pleasure Pier in the center of downtown Avalon. Again, according to the Cruise Critic write-up, the Green Pleasure Pier is a hub of activity. It's home to the Visitors Bureau, as well as rentals for motorboats, wave runners, fishing equipment, glass-bottom boats, tours, semi-submersible tours, also launch from there. Just past the piers, Crescent Avenue, street full of shops, restaurants, what have you. Then on May 12th, the Disney Wonder will end her season in San Diego and head north to Vancouver on a 5-night repositioning cruise, stopping in San Francisco and Victoria. The May 12th departure is the Disney Wonder's final bookable cruise at this time, and will arrive in Vancouver on Monday, May 17th. So what does that mean for possible cruises to and from Hawaii in 2021? If I were a betting man, which I'm not, by the way, I'd say the 517 cruise will be the start of the Alaskan season, and Hawaii will not be on the schedule for May of 2021, as it is in this coming year, 2020. Again, I'm just guessing. I looked at the number or past dates. Where are they here? Oh, here we go. In 2018, the repositioning cruise to Vancouver was May 16th and arrived Vancouver for the first Alaskan cruise on 5/21. 2019, same timeline, May 15th, got to Vancouver on 5/20 for an Alaskan cruise. Now, this coming year, April 24th is the repositioning cruise to Vancouver, and you have the April 29th Hawaii cruise and the 5/8 Hawaii cruise, which comes back from Hawaii to Vancouver, with the first Alaskan starting on May 18th. Now, looking at 2021 here, the repositioning cruise is May 12th, and puts the Wonder in Vancouver on May 17th, which is a Monday, which is right around that time for the 7-night Alaskan cruises to begin on with Monday departures from Vancouver. So I'm just kind of going based on, how it slots into the calendar based on historical time, historical itineraries and all that stuff. So I don't know. While Hawaii's popular, I don't necessarily think they're going to give away some Alaska time for Hawaii, but who knows? I could be wrong. And that wraps up the itinerary announcement for the fleet for early 2021. I did manage to get some information for the onboard on which cruises are excluded from the onboard booking promotion. There are actually 2 cruises for each ship that are not eligible for the onboard offer, for the upcoming 2021, early 2021 time. And these dates correspond with that, peak time right around, peak time of spring break, kind of right around Easter, which happens to fall on April 4th, 2021. The sailings for the Disney Magic are the March 29th 5-night Bahamian and the April 3rd 5-night Western Caribbean. For the Disney Wonder, that's going to be the March 28th 5-night Baja cruise and the April 2nd 5-night Baja cruise. For the Disney Dream, that's going to be the April 2nd 3-night and the April 5th 4-night. And on the Fantasy, that's going to be the March 27th 7-night Western, as well as the April 3rd 7-night Eastern cruise. All 6 of those sailings are not eligible for the onboard booking promotion. Those are the blockout dates. For more on blockouts, check the website. We have a whole list of past and future cruises that are not eligible for this as part of that offer. Now, general booking opens on Thursday, October 3rd. However, there will be a tiered booking period, as has been established, beginning Monday, September 30th. On Monday, September 30th, Platinum Castaway Club members and Disney's Golden Oaks residents can begin booking online or by calling in. On Tuesday, October 1st, Gold Castaway Club members. Wednesday, October 2nd, Silver Castaway Club members, Adventures by Disney Insiders, and DVC members who have not previously sailed with Disney Cruise Line may book. Then on Thursday, October 3rd, first-time cruisers who have never sailed with Disney Cruise Line before will be able to book. And if you have sailed with Disney Cruise Line and you do plan on booking something this week, and you may have only been on one cruise a while back, this is a great time in these next couple days to sit down, check your account to make sure your Castaway Club status is correct in the system, so you can log in, say, on Wednesday, October 2nd, for silver booking day ahead of the general public. I've heard sometimes, the Castaway Club ID is not associated with their account, or even people that cruised a long time ago don't know their Castaway Club ID to get associated with their account. So you can actually call in the Disney Cruise Line and speak to somebody and get that ID number. If you have an old Key to the World card, it's printed on there as well, what your Castaway Club ID is from a past cruise. So that's pretty much the extent of the early 2021 itinerary announcement from Disney Cruise Line. We got a full rundown on the website with all the new itinerary maps, the sail dates for each ship. We've got links to download the PDF brochures from Disney and the sail, the specifically one for the new sail dates. Stay tuned on Monday when booking opens up for Platinum. We'll summarize all the opening day prices for all these new sailings and put a post together so everybody that's the tiered booking can get an idea of where these cruises are coming in price wise before they go ahead and call in and book and help plan accordingly. Before we end this episode, just want to point out, for anyone looking for summer 2021 dates, we anticipate that release to occur early next year, and that's again simply based on the historical itinerary release cycle from Disney Cruise Line. For example, over the last few years, we've seen a lot of mid to late February. Sometimes it's been pushed into April. We've gotten right around the end of February, beginning of March dates. So look for the spring if Disney continues to stick with the traditional release cycle for the summer sailings for 2021. And that'll do it for this episode. Thanks for listening. Have a question, comment, rumor, or just want to say hi? Call 321-765-3252 to leave a voicemail, and we just might include it in a future episode. You can reach us via the comments section on the website, email at contact@disneycruiselineblog.com, Twitter @the DCL blog, and Facebook, facebook.com/Disney Cruise Line blog.